Hello, beautiful learners. Hopefully, you're doing great, and I'm also good by the grace of Almighty. So, it's our day 5, and we are going to practice IELTS listening practice test 5. Okay, so we will practice this. We'll practice this IELTS listening test with answer and proper explanation for achieving band 9. Okay, I hope after watching this video you will be able to listen it or understand it more confidently, and I hope you will earn a lot of confidence to practice with yourself at home. So before going to start our class, I just need to check out the sound quality. So you just need just give me a few seconds to check out the sound quality, then I will start the class. Okay. Okay, I hope the sound is good enough to continue. I'm sorry about my throat, because from last today I'm really feeling so bad with my throat. So sometime maybe I will have to just stop, because I already said that my throat is not good enough. So for this reason, just advance apologies to you. Okay, so let's move on. So here is our test, and we are going to practice it. So it's our practice test 5. Okay, so now we are going to start with part 1, and here's the an instruction for us: no more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. Okay, and the headline is sociology research project, research project survey. Okay, so this is a sample question, we just need to listen it. Okay, so let's listen first with this example. Okay,
you will hear a number of different recordings, and you have to answer questions on what you hear. There'll be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you have a chance to check your work. All the recording at the end of... Now turn to Section 1.
Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a sociology student. First, you have some time to look at for you. On this occasion...
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Excuse me? Could you spare a minute, please?
Oh, hello. Sorry, I was in a world of my own. I didn't hear you there.
No problem. My name's Katie, and I'm a second-year sociology student. We're doing a research project on the importance of community centres to local residents. May I ask, are you a...
So I hope you got the answer. This is a example for us. So I hope you also understand that this example. This survey is on community center. Okay, so let's move on. Now we'll listen for question number 1. So for question number 1, the keywords is age. Okay, age. So now we'll listen it. Let's move on.
Resident of Malton.
So begin a second time.
Hello.
No problem. We're doing a research. May I ask, are you a resident of Malton?
Yes, I am.
That's perfect. Would you mind answering some questions about the facilities you use? It won't take very long.
Of course. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Fire away.
Great. Okay, the first questions are to do with you. So can I ask how old you are? We need to know for statistical purposes later.
Well, I'd like to say 16, but I'm 59. 60 next week, in fact.
Congratulations for next week. Now I just need your postcode and then we'll get started.
Did you got the answer? He was saying that I would like to say 60, but I'm 59, 60 next week, in fact. Okay, let's listen one more time.
For next
I'm 59. Well, I'd like to say 16, but I'm 59. 60 next week, in fact.
So the answer would be 59. Okay, now cause after a week his age would be 60, but it's not 60 yet. That's why we have to write it 59. Okay, let's move on. Now we'll listen it for question number 2, and keyword for this question is postcode. Okay, let's listen it.
Congratulations for next week. Now I just need your postcode and then we'll get started.
Right. Well, that's an easy one. It's HA87UP.
7A8 HQP. Was that right?
No, my dear. It's HA87UP.
Right. Okay. Sorry for the confusion.
That's quite all right.
I hope you got the answer, because he was repeating this once more time, because the lady was miss noted it. That's why he repeated it one more time for her. Okay, so the answer would be HA87UP. Okay, I hope you got the answer. So it's his postcode. Okay, now we are going to listen for question number 3. Okay, let's listen. Where okay, this is keyword for question number 3. Computer facilities. Computer facilities already used. Okay, where?
Now, what about these questions?
Yes, let's get started. So, one of the most important things we need to know is which of the facilities you already use.
Right, okay.
Okay. What about computer facilities? Do you currently use public computers anywhere in town?
Yes, I do. I go to my local library.
Great.
He said he go to his he was saying that I go to my local library. So the answer would be local library, or you can also write it just library. Okay, library. Okay, Okay. Okay, now we are going to listen for question number 4. So it also we also have here where for keyword, okay, and sport facilities already used. Okay, now we are going to listen for question number 4. So let's move on.
Jotting that down. Okay. What about local sports facilities?
Yes, I get down to the swimming pool at least twice a week.
And education facilities? Are you currently attending any courses?
Yes, I go.
Okay, we missed it. Let's listen it one more time.
Facility?
At least.
Facilities.
Yes, I get down to the swimming pool at least twice a week.
And education?
So the answer would be swimming pool. She just asked what about local sport facilities, and he replied that yes, I get down to swimming pool. I get down to swimming pool at least twice a week. So the answer would be swimming pool. Swim, M-I-N-G, swimming pool, P-W-O, pool. Okay, so education facilities already used. Okay, where
Facilities? Are you currently attending any courses? And education?
Swimming pool at least twice a week.
And education facilities? Are you currently attending any courses?
Yes, I go to Spanish classes every Friday at the Further Education College.
That's
he was saying that I go to Spanish classes. That means he go to learn Spanish every Friday at the Further Education College. So the name would be, the answer would be Further Education College, or you can also write it just college. Okay, college. Oh no, it's not A, it's E. Okay, further education. You can also write it Further Education College, or you can write it just college. Now we are going to listen for question number 10, 6 to 10.
You hear the rest of the conversation. You have some time.
So here's the another instruction for us: no more than 3 words and or a number for each answer. Okay, so and the title is improvements for the community center. Okay, and we have here keyword as new sports. So let's listen it.
Time to look at questions 6 to
through. The next bit. Okay, we're halfway through. The next bit is all about how the community centre could be improved, if at all, that is.
I see. Well, I'll give it a go.
Well, firstly, I'd like to find out your views on sports facilities. Which sports do you think the community centre should offer that it doesn't already?
Well, I'm not going to say swimming, as there's no point having 2 pools in a town of this size. Let me think. What about yoga? I know it's very popular these days. Yes, yoga and badminton. I used to play it.
Did you got the answer? He was saying that I'm not going to say that. Maybe he was mentioned swimming, okay, but but lastly he said I would say yoga and badminton. So the answer would be badminton. Don't be confused with as he also said swimming, because it's not the answer, because he was saying I'm not going to say swimming as there, okay. So and lastly he said I would say yoga and badminton. So the answer would be yoga.
You know.
Really?
Yes, and I was quite...
Yoga and badminton. TON badminton. Okay. So now it's time to listen for question number 7. Okay, so let's find out some keywords for this question. Class organized only for blah blah. Okay.
Quite good, though I'm probably a bit rusty now. It's been years.
Okay. Do you think the classes should be split into groups?
Yes, that's a good idea. I know that if there were classes only for pensioners, I'd definitely be more likely to play.
Did you got the answer? He was saying the class would be only for pensioner. Okay, the answer would be pensioner. Pension, no, sorry, one pensure, and is pensioners. I'm sorry about my thoughts. Sometimes I'm automatically stop because it's problem with my throat. That's why sometimes I'm going to stop automatically. Okay. Now it's time to look for question number 8. Okay. So the keyword for this question is education classes. Okay. Oh no, education classes. So let's listen it.
I'm not as fast as I once was, you know.
Okay, I'll just write that down. Great. Now we're nearly done. I just need to ask you some questions about education. What kind of classes do you think the centre should offer that it doesn't already?
Well, I suppose the kind of thing that's no longer offered at the local college. Things like arts and crafts.
Did you got the answer? The answer would be arts and crafts. Okay, the answer would be arts and crafts. C-R-A-T-S, crafts. Okay, C-R-A-F-T-S, crafts. Okay, now let's move on to question number 9. Willing to pay about. Okay, maybe they will talk about just an amount. Let's listen it. Okay, also for here for new classes. Okay, let's listen it.
Those kinds of classes have now closed as they weren't financially viable, apparently.
Yes, I heard about that. It was such a shame. Those kinds of classes are so important for the psychological well-being of those most vulnerable in a community. Okay, I've written that down. Now I need to ask you whether you would be willing to pay for any of the services we were just talking about.
As long as it wasn't too much, I have nothing against contributing. Something like £2 per class seems like a reasonable rate for an old man like me.
Okay, and lastly then,
So did you got the answer? He was saying that I have nothing against contributing something like £2. Okay, per class seems like a reasonable rate. Okay, so the answer would be £2. So here we have pound sign, so we just need to write 2. Okay, you can write it in number or you can write it also in word. Okay, it's depend on you. Possible frequency of visits if improvements made blah blah a week. Visit improvement made a week.
just need to know how regularly you think you will use the new facilities if the community centre makes the changes you have suggested.
Well, I'd say 3 times a week, which is more than I go at the moment. I only bother on Mondays and Wednesdays, as there's nothing else on during the week that interests me. But I would definitely get out of the house more if they were to make those kinds of changes.
Did you got the answer? You were saying that 3 times in a week. So the answer would be 3 times. 3 times. You can also write it. You can also write the 3 in word. I just write it in number, and the times is in word. Okay. So the answer would be 3 times. Okay, 3 times in a week. So now it's all about our part 1. Now we are going to practice with part 2 and choose the correct letter A, B or C. Okay.
Now listen.
Okay. The dark which makes of Hampstead health is okay. Dark which makes up health is
And answer question.
Hi and welcome to the Walking Audio Tour Service, which offers guided audio tours of over 30 walks around London. The full list of the walks is available on our website. You have chosen the Hampstead Heath Tour Part 1, which was, in fact, the first of the walking tours that were recorded. Your walk takes you through part of the Heath, a huge, wild, open parkland where Londoners and visitors to the city can come and enjoy.
Did you got the answer? What do you think the answer would be? The answer would be option A. So if you don't understand it, let's listen it one more time for you.
Hi and welcome to the Walking Audio Tour Service, which offers guided audio tour.
Now listen and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hi and welcome to the Walking Audio Tour Service, which offers guided audio tours of over 30 walks around London. The full list of the walks is available on our website. You have chosen the Hampstead Heath Tour Part 1, which was, in fact, the first of the walking tours that were recorded. Your walk takes you through part of the Heath, a huge, wild, open parkland.
A huge wild. Okay, so a huge. So huge is synonym to very large. That's why the answer would be option A. Okay. Okay, now it's time to look for question number 12. According to the speaker, Hampstead underground station is, so Hampstead underground station is blah blah. Okay, oh no.
Where Londoners and visitors to the city can come and enjoy some leisurely and refreshing exercise. The Heath is one of the gems of North London. When you enter the parkland, you will feel as if you are walking in the wild countryside, but you are actually still in an urban area. The walking tour begins here at the exit to Hampstead Underground Station, which is the deepest station on the London Underground system.
Did you got the answer? She was saying that which is the deepest station on the London Underground system. So what do you think the answer would be? The answer would be B. Okay, the deepest in the system. The speaker suggests that after their walk. People might want to. Okay. The speaker says after their walk, people might want to blah blah.
We hope that you enjoy your experience, whether you are on your own or sharing your walk with a companion. So, let's begin your tour. We hope you enjoy it. If you turn right as you exit Hampstead Station and stay on the right-hand side of the road, the main thoroughfare, Heath Street, will take you up the hill to the Heath itself. You are now walking away from the main shops and cafes in Hampstead Village, but you can return to visit these after your walking tour for some window shopping.
Did you got the answer? So I hope it's better to let's listen it one more time, okay?
These are cafes in Hampstead. You are now walking away from the main shops and cafes in Hampstead Village, but you can return to visit these after your walking tour for some window shopping.
After you work for some window shopping. Okay, so what do you think the answer would be? Have a meal in the famous restaurant? No, it's not the answer. Avoid Hampstead Village as it is very busy. No, it's not. Visit Hampstead Village to look at the shops. Yeah, the answer would be it's okay. The houses in the valley of the Heath are built. Houses are built.
The village is busy during the daytime and the evenings. Now back to Heath Street. As the road winds northwards up Heath Street, you will pass some shops and restaurants on your way to the Heath. When you reach the top, the first part of the Heath that you will see on your right is the Vale of the Heath, which has some spectacular houses built on the Heath itself beside a large pond.
Did you got the answer? You have said Valley of the Heath, which has some spectacular houses built on the Heath itself. Okay, so what do you think the answer would be? Because you were saying built on the Heath itself. So here on the edge of the Heath, on the Heath itself, opposite the Heath, the answer would be B. Okay, let's move on. The speaker advises workers to remove their headphones
If you go along a little further, you will come to a fork in the road, where one road, North End Way, turns to the left and goes northwest away from the Heath. And on your right is Spaniards Road, which turns northeast, cutting through the parkland. Walk along this latter road a little way and look for the first opening on your right, where a path leads you down into the wild parkland. As you descend along the pathway, you will find that the noise of the busy road that is just on your left disappears completely. You might want to take off your headphones to enjoy the delight of the sounds of the parkland.
Okay, to enjoy the delight of the to enjoy the delight of the sounds of the parkland. Okay, so what do you think the answer would be? Hear the silence away from the traffic, ensure they are not being followed, listen to the noises in the park. So the answer would be C. Okay, now just give me a few seconds. I need to break for a short time. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Now it's time to
Now
practice
listen.
with
Now listen and answer.
16 to 20. Okay, so which activity can be done at each of the following locations on the health? Okay, choose 5 new answers below and write the correct letter A to G next to question, next to questions 16 to 20. Okay, so which activity can be done at each of the following location? Which activity done following locations? So here number A, have picnics, go fishing, view London, have a swim, attend concert, watch play, have snacks. Okay, so keyword for this question is okay. So keyword for this question is this, and close the shops. Okay, let's listen.
Answer questions 16 to 20.
You can either walk through the woods and enjoy being among the trees, or you can savour the other charms the heath has to offer. You are now at Kenwood House, which is a museum open to the public. It has been used as the setting for several well-known films, and is used as a venue for a wide range of functions. For some light refreshments, there is the cafe at Kenwood House.
Did you got the answer? What do you think the answer would be? If you don't, so let's listen it one more time.
For some, it has been Kenwood House charms the heath has to offer. Or you can savour the other woods, and you can either walk through the woods and enjoy being among the trees, or you can savour the other charms the heath has to offer. You are now at Kenwood House, which is a museum open to the public. It has been used as the setting for several well-known films, and is used as a venue for a wide range of functions. For some light refreshments, there is the cafe at Kenwood House. Below Kenwood House,
We are saying that for some light refreshments there is the cafe at Kenwood House. So what do you think the answer would be? Have picnic, go fishing, view London, have swimming, attend concert, watch play, have snacks. What do you think the answer? As he was saying, light refreshments. There is a cafe. There is the cafe at the nude house. What do you think the answer would be? As he was mentioning that there is the cafe, so I think it's relevant to have some snacks. Are you agree with me? Yes, the answer would be G. Let's move on.
House itself, you can see the grassy slopes, which are an ideal place for picnics. And for
So what do you think the answer would be? Grassy slopes, which are, as she was saying that, which are an ideal place for picnic. So what do you think the answer would be? The answer would be have picnic. That's mean option A. Okay, let's move on.
for children to run around and play games. Just beyond this picnic area is an open-air stage where music concerts are held in the summer months. You might even see the stage being prepared for a concert while you are there. You might want to explore this part of the heath at your leisure. But before you leave the...
Did you got the answer for question number 8 in? She was saying that just behind this picnic area is an open air stage where music concerts are held. So what do you think the answer would be? Attend concert. So the answer would be option A. Okay, option E. Okay,
the heath altogether, there are two other notable features that are worth visiting. On the east side of the heath are several large ponds for segregated and mixed bathing. And if you would like a view of London, you can visit Parliament Hill, which gives you a good panorama of London that is in fact protected by law.
did you got the answer? Because the answer of the question 19 and 20 was a little bit closer, I think. Because as she was saying that the font for the font for segregated and mixed bathing. So the answer for question 19 would be have a swim, because it's relevant to bath. Okay, that's why the answer would be D. And she was saying that a view of London, you can visit Parliament Hill. Okay, Parliament Hill. So the answer would be view London. That means the answer would be option C. Okay, it's all about part 2. Okay, now it's time to no. Why? A. Okay, it's time to practice with part 2. Now we are going to start it. So how do the speaker describe the green urban planning option? Okay, describe the green urban planning option. Choose 5 description from the box and write the correct letter A to Z next to the question 21 to 25. Okay, so the description: dangerous, too expensive, too many, objection, disruptive, unpractical, successful, unsuccessful. Okay, and the keyword green belt, decentralization, new terms, brownfield sites, pedestrianized zone. Okay, let's move on.
You will hear a number of different recordings, and you have to answer questions on what you hear. There'll be work. All the recordings will be played only once.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21.
Hi. Sir, please come in. As you're a tutor
Now.
Hi, Jack. No bother. Please come in. As you're a tutor this year, it's my responsibility to oversee your assignments. Now, where are my notes? Oh, yes, here they are. Okay. I see that we were going to look at your case study on the challenges of urban planning in the 21st century and how to make it as green as possible. How's it all going?
Actually, I'm pretty happy with it. Can I talk you through it to make sure I'm on the right track?
Of course, please do. I'll stop you if I have any questions.
Okay. Well, I started by giving an overview of what green urban planning has been up until now. Firstly, there's the idea of a green belt. This is the one that everyone's heard of. But I found that while it was successful for a short time and in limited cases, it grossly oversimplified things.
Well, that's a good and...
Did you got the answer? You were saying that, but I found that while it was successful for a short time and in limited case. If you don't, let's listen one more time.
But I found that while it was successful for a short time and in
So he said, I found that while it was successful for a short time. So what do you think the answer would be? The answer would be, as he mentioned, successful. So the answer would be option F. Okay.
limited cases, it grossly oversimplified things.
Well, that's a good and practical start. What else did you look at? I hope that you also considered the idea of decentralization.
Yes, that was really interesting, as although there were no objections to it, and it looked good on paper, it just didn't work in practice.
Yes.
So what do you think the answer would be? Because he was saying that it just did not work in practice. It just did not work in practice. So the answer would be unpractical. Okay, as he was mentioning that it did not work in practice, and did not work in practice is relevant to unpractical. That's why the answer would be option E. Now it's time to listen for question number 23. Okay.
A conundrum indeed. However, I think you'll find that there are many fads that come and go in this area. It isn't the first, and it won't be the last to simply disappear off the face of the planet. Well, this is all very good so far. What did you look at next?
I then researched the 1960s fad of building new towns on new sites, but I found that although there are isolated cases of success, they tended to cost too much time and money to build.
Keeping to that theme,
What do you think the answer would be? He was saying that I found that although although there are isolated cases of success, they tended to cost too much. So cost too much. Okay. So what do you think the answer would be? I think the answer would be too expensive. So cost too much is relevant to too expensive. So that's why the answer would be B. Okay. Okay, let's move on.
have you considered the idea of brownfield sites? That is, sites that previously had another use being converted into residential areas.
Like the idea of buildings that were once banks being turned into restaurants, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, I'd say it's a pretty important option in most urban areas today, even though there have been issues with safety if the land were contaminated in any way. At least it tends to attract no objections from local residents.
Okay, thanks. I'll make sure I...
Did you got the answer? I also did got the answer, so I have to listen it one more time. So let's listen it one more time together.
Tends to attract issues pretty... Yeah, that's right.
Buildings that...
Being converted into residential areas.
Like the idea of buildings that were once banks being turned into restaurants, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, I'd say it's a pretty important option in most urban areas today, even though there have been issues with safety if the land were contaminated in any way. At least it tends to attract no objections from local...
Okay, it's a little bit tricky to capture the answer because he was saying first we need to look for the keyword brownfield sites. Okay, so the person was asking that like the idea of building that okay, the teacher was asking that that this that is the site that previously had another use being converted into residential area, and the second person said like the idea of building that were once banks being turned into residents, that kind of thing. And the first person said, yeah, that's right. And the second person said, no, I don't thought of that. And first person said, well, I would say it's a pretty important option. Now they are talking about brownfield sites, okay? And he was the first person was saying there, I would say it's a pretty important option in most urban areas today, even though there have been issues with safety. So what do you think the answer would be? So the answer would be, I think, dangerous, as he was mentioning that though there have been issues with safety. So it's not, maybe it's not there is a lackings of safety. That's why the answer would be option A. Okay, option A, dangerous. Okay.
Residents.
Okay, thanks. I'll make sure I put that in.
Anything else?
Well, I'm not sure about this last one, but I thought the idea of pedestrianizing central areas was an interesting concept. Do you think it's valid here?
Well, it's certainly not a bad idea. The only thing is that it would probably intensify the problem of congestion in inner city areas and would disrupt local residents' sleep if the construction work were to happen during the night. The use of loud excavators to repave the area would be inevitable.
Yes, I take your point. But in some older cities, I think it's one of the few viable options.
Well, as long as you state that, then it can definitely be included.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions.
Did you got the answer? So let's listen it one more time.
Simply not an interesting concept, but I thought the idea of well, I'm not sure about this last one, but I thought the idea of pedestrianizing central areas was an interesting concept. Do you think it's valid here?
Well, it's certainly not a bad idea. The only thing is that it would probably intensify the problem of congestion in inner city areas and would disrupt local residents' sleep if the construction work.
Okay, he was saying that it would probably intensify the problem with congestion in inner city areas and would disrupt local residents. Local resident sleep. Okay, so what do you think the answer would be? We are with which option his speech is relevant? So it's relevant to disruptive. Okay, so that's why the answer would be D. Okay, now we are going to practice.
Now listen.
I'm really feeling bad with my throat. That's why sometimes I'm being automatically stopped because of my throat. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Which area is Jack having the most problems with? Which area is Jack having the most problem?
And answer questions.
Okay, so that's my introduction to urban planning sorted. But now I come to the main part, which is the case study. It was really difficult to choose, as there are so many good examples. But in the end, I settled on Curitiba, which is the capital of the South Brazilian state of Paraná.
Ah, yes, nice choice. How's the research coming along?
Well, to be honest, I'm finding the amount of material a bit too much. There's such a diverse range of statistics that it makes it almost impossible to be selective.
He was saying that I'm finding the amount of material a bit too much. There's such diverse range of statistics that it makes it almost impossible to be
selective. So what do you think the answer would be? Understanding the statistics, lack of materials. No, it's not the answer. I think the selection of statistics. So I think the answer would be option C. Okay, because you are saying that makes it almost impossible to be selected. So this is the reason for behind this, why the option C is correct. Okay, what has been central central to Cartiba's success? Has been central to success. Okay, let's listen it.
Well, tell me a bit more about what you discovered, and then we'll see if we can come up with a plan to tackle the problem.
Well, it's fascinating. Local authorities managed to achieve so much since the 1960s, principally because, rather than waiting for central government initiatives, they chose a cohesive strategy where residents were consulted. Then they took their ideas and implemented them into local government planning to come up with a plan everybody was happy with.
A bottom-up approach. Do go on.
Well, the transport system...
Okay, let's listen it one more time.
...rather effective. Diverse. To be honest, I'm finding the amount of material a bit too much to be selective.
Well, tell me a bit more about what you discovered, and then we'll see if we can come up with a plan to tackle the problem.
Well, it's fascinating. Local authorities managed to achieve so much since the 1960s, principally because, rather than waiting for central government initiatives, they chose a cohesive strategy where residents were consulted. Then they took their ideas and implemented...
Okay, you got the answer. He was saying that they chose a cohesive strategy where residents were consulted.
So what do you think the answer would be? Central government intervention, working together with resident, giving responsibility to the strategists.
And he was saying they chose a cohesive strategy where residents were
consulted. So what do you think the answer would be? I think the answer would be B, because it's relevant to that. He was saying choose a cohesive strategy where residents were consulted. Okay, now let's move on to question number 28. Why does the transport system work so well? Transport system work so well.
...implemented them into local government planning to come up with a plan everybody was happy with.
A bottom-up approach. Do go on.
Well, the transport system is a real example of the town's eco-friendly image. Even though they have one of the highest number of cars per person in the country, they also have the highest number of people using public transport. This is because poor and elderly residents are able to benefit from a social fare that allows them to use the system for less.
There you got the answer. You are saying that this because poor and elderly residents are able to benefit from a social fare that allows them to use the system for less. What do you think the answer would be?
There are cheap fares for poor and elderly. Bicycles can use, but no, it's not the answer. I think there is a low car ownership. No, it's not the answer. I think the answer would be option A, because you were saying that poor and elderly residents are able to benefit from that, from a social fare that allows them to use system for less. So the answer would be there are cheap fares for poor and elderly people. That's why the answer would be option A. Okay, now it's time to look for question number 29 and 30. Choose two letters A to E. Okay,
Well, that's
which does the tutor suggest are the two areas Jack needs to focus? Tutor suggests two areas Jack needs to focus on.
That's really impressive, Jack. Well done. But I do have some suggestions to help you with finalising your case study.
Please.
If you're going to prove Kurichiba's success, you need to refer to specifics. You mentioned pedestrian-only areas in your introduction. How about that?
Yes, okay.
And what about the amount of parking for all of them? Oh, that's just
Please.
But I do have some suggestions to help you with finalising your case study.
Please.
If you're going to prove Kurichiba's success, you need to refer to specifics. You mentioned pedestrian-only areas in your introduction. How about that?
Yes, okay.
He was suggesting, you can say he was asking a question like, you mentioned pedestrians, pedestrian only areas in your instruction. How about that? And the student was saying okay, so the answer would be the amount of parkland, employment strategy, no, president Jones. Okay, I think the answer would be C. Okay, let's listen.
And what about the amount of parking for all of those cars?
I didn't come across that in my research, but I can look it up.
Yeah, I think it's important.
And what about considering where people live in relation to their place of work? If they live in the suburbs, how about mentioning how far they need to travel in order to get to work?
And don't forget about their recycling strategy, including how easy it is and how...
The teacher was saying that, and don't forget about their recycling strategies. Okay, so the answer would be option D. Okay, so that's all about our part 3. Now we are going to practice with part 4. Okay,
Now listen.
so here's another instruction for us. No more than two words for each answer. Okay, and headline is economics course guidelines. Okay, economics and will receive information about economics and the blah blah to concentrate on.
Carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Stanley University School of Economics. I will be one of your lecturers on the course, and my name is Professor Whitefield. Before the academic year really gets underway, I would like to take you through some of what you can expect and to give you some general course information. Firstly, you will be attending lectures during which you will receive information about economics and the priorities that you will need to focus on.
Okay, economics and the priorities. So the answer would be priorities. 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 Okay, the answer would be priorities. Okay, now it's time to look for 20 and 32. We'll have an opportunity to be taught by an opportunity to be taught by a blah blah in the field.
The lectures will provide you with information about the subject in a relatively condensed format. In addition, they should also provide a suitable framework for further study. Typically, this is also the first time that students get the chance to meet a researcher at the forefront of the discipline. Traditionally, lectures are seen as an essential part of the learning culture for higher education, in which undergraduate study is viewed as an induction into academic discipline and a way of viewing the world. However, although all I have said until now is true, every year undergraduate students experience problems with the techniques used in lectures. Being forewarned will hopefully help you with adjusting to these issues. The first problem is that there is little opportunity for the
maybe we missed the track. Let's listen one more time.
For further study. In addition of the subject, you will receive information about economics and the priorities that you will need to focus on. The lectures will provide you with information about the subject in a relatively condensed format. In addition, they should also provide a suitable framework for further study. Typically, this is also the first time that students get the chance to meet a researcher at the forefront of the discipline.
Okay, he was saying that typically this is also the first time that students get the chance to meet a researcher. So the answer would be researcher. Okay, SEARCHER, a researcher. Okay, will take part in the learning culture in
discipline. Traditionally, lectures are seen as an essential part of the learning culture for higher education, in which undergraduate study is viewed as an induction into academic discipline.
Did you get the answer? He was saying that traditional lectures are seen as an essential part of the learning course for higher education. So the answer would be higher education. Oh no, where it's gone? Education. Okay. May not develop blah blah. No immediate questions.
And a way of viewing the world. However, although all I have said until now is true, every year undergraduate students experience problems with the techniques used in lectures. Being forewarned will hopefully help you with adjusting to these issues. The first problem is that there is little opportunity for the development of student understanding. That is, if you misunderstand something, there is no immediate opportunity to ask. Secondly, when newer teaching approaches are used, such as problem solving, learning outcomes are improved. However, these will still not replace the validity of listening and learning from an expert.
Okay, let's listen it one more
To
time.
little to these issues. Being forewarned will hopefully help you with adjusting to these issues. The first problem is that there is little opportunity for the development of student understanding.
He was saying that the first problem is that there is a little opportunity for the development of student understanding. So may not, problem means may not here. So the answer would be student understanding. Okay, it's student, student understanding. Okay, newer techniques help improve blah blah more than lecture.
That is, if you misunderstand something, there is no immediate opportunity to ask. Secondly, when newer teaching approaches are used, such as problem solving, learning outcomes are improved.
New techniques help improve. And he was saying that secondly, when newer techniques approach are used, such as problem solving, learning outcomes are improved. So learning outcome. So the answer would be learning outcome. Learning, learning, outco, outcome. Okay, outcomes. The answer would be learning outcomes. Okay, leave. Okay, yeah, how to avoid problems and make learning easier. Leave time to read blah blah on book list.
However, these will still not replace the validity of listening and learning from an expert. You can do in order to make the learning process and consequently your student life at the university easier. First and foremost, be prepared. You will be given a reading list. Don't just throw it away or forget about it. Make sure you leave enough time to go through all items on it.
Okay, he was saying that don't just throw it away or forget about it. Make sure you leave enough time to go through all items. That means read. Go through means read. Okay, all ITES, all items. Okay, the answer would be all items. Okay, if you have had a blah blah, revise what you previously learned.
Once you've done that, an ideal thing to do would be to test yourself on the contents. Prepare a mini quiz while reading and go back to it before the lecture and just check you know the answers. Now, for most of you, this won't be the first time that you're studying economics, but you may have taken a gap year or had a period of time working. If this is so, and even if it isn't in fact, it always makes sense to go back and refresh your memory on those relevant theories you learned about before, as we'll definitely be referring to.
Okay, it's a little bit tricky to get the answer. The answer would be the answer would be gap year. Okay, oh no, gap year, because he was saying that but he was saying that now most of you, this is not would be the first time that you're studying economics, but you may have take a gap year or had a period of time working. If this is so, and even if it even if it isn't, in fact, it always makes sense to go back and refresh your memory. So that's means he is saying that revise what you previously learned. Okay, the answer would be gap year. Okay, use the web to do more, blah blah.
To them. Okay, there are just a couple more ideas I'd like to suggest before I'll take any questions you may have. We are lucky enough to be living in a digital age, so use resources like the web to do some extra background research. There's no shortage of information nowadays, but just be sure that you're using reliable resources. Finally, and this is an important one, make sure you discuss ideas with your peers. They're in the same boat as you are after all, and you'll probably find that it helps make your learning more memorable. All in all, take charge of your learning and you'll...
Did you got the answer here? All three answers are together, and he was saying that do some extra background research. Okay, more and more is relevant to extra, so the answer would be back, GROUND, background research, RESEARCH. Research. Okay, research. And he was saying also that, but just be sure that you are using reliable resource. So here, check the resource information on the web are reliable. The answer would be reliable, RELIABLE. Oh no, reliable. Okay, and we'll discuss idea. Discuss idea. Okay, ideas. Okay, this is done. We also finished it, and time is also up, so let's submit it together. Oh no, I got 8. Why? Maybe we got some mistake, I think. Okay, we have maybe spelling mistake here. Pen show. No, it's a mistake. Okay. Oh, it's a spelling mistake. Oh no, it's a typing mistake. Discuss. Oh no, it's also a spelling mistake. Okay, no problem. I hope you understand everything, and that's all about our today's lesson, and I hope see you soon in the next class. And just you need to practice it more and more times, and I hope after that you will be able to sit in a IELTS real exam. And hopefully after watching these classes many times or more and more times, you will get more and more confident, okay, to sit in real exam. So I always suggest you to watch these classes always, okay, and practice it with me. So hopefully I'll see you next class. Till then, bye for now, and have a good